Hi, welcome to SBF Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show, the show that we do every week with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. It's actually Monday right now. We had to cancel our show on Friday, but we're doing a call on Monday. Next Sunday is a Super Bowl Sunday, but we're going to do a call today and then another call on Friday. Just talk to Brent about booking the Super Bowl. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Good to be with you, Peter.
All right, before we discuss the Super Bowl, I want to ask you about the conference championships. Now, we talk in our videos about how the teasers are what really make or break your weekends, especially in the playoffs. And in the conference championships, 7 out of the 8 teaser sides covered. The one that didn't was, of course, the Denver over. I'm assuming that was great that one didn't cover both in terms of the straight bet and the teaser. But still, all 4 of the spreads covered. Was that bad?
Well, actually, we ended up having a good day, and the thing is, it's not just all about the teasers, of course, and you look at the parlays, and the thing is, like, by the time we got down to game time, we had, we really needed Denver to win, we really needed the under in that game, and we really needed Seattle, so, I mean, we really needed those 3. Those were our 3 biggest decisions, where we had a ton of money on New England, ton of money on the over, and a ton of money on San Fran. So things worked out pretty well for us. That's just basically the straights and the parties were that way. So in the end, we ended up having a good day. I mean, like I said, there's it takes a lot to really have us get beat up bad when it comes down to the 2 games.
All right. Well, let's talk about the early action for a Super Bowl XLVIII. First of all, there was some pretty significant line movement right when the line got released. It went quickly. It opened to pick 'em approximately. Then it went quickly. It seemed like the early sharp action came in on Seattle, and then of course the line went big the other way to Denver -2, which is approximately where it is now. So what was causing all that? Did you take early sharp action on Seattle?
Yeah, the only sharp money I have on Seattle, there's a couple of guys who were involved. I would say, like I said, of the group that I keep track of, there's 3 of them who are all on the same side, and they're on Seattle. They took Seattle plus the 2.5, and they took the Seattle money line when it was plus 120 as well. So the sharps that we have involved in this game are all on Seattle right now. But we're in a position right now which is good for us in that our money is basically 2-1 in favor of Denver right now. The count in terms of number of bets is about 4-1, so you can tell it's a lot of public action as well. When you get into parlays and teasers and stuff like that, it's about 2-1 on Denver still. The count's probably a little bit more than 2-1 in favor of Denver still. So a lot of public money all over Denver. I mean, you look at this line, it's like, wow, it's just kind of a low line. I mean, how often this year have you been able to bet Denver, minus 3 points? Maybe not at all this week. I'd have to go back and check week by week. So it's a lot of public money on Denver and a lot of sharp money on Seattle. We're still in a position that, if it kicked off today, we're in a position where we would need Seattle and the under, and that's not a bad thing for us, of course.
Let's talk about, the total. I mean, you talked about, how many times all year long could you have bet Denver at that low of a line, but we know that all year long the public has been all over Denver overs. Sometimes the sharps have been pounding Denver overs as well, and we know the public usually likes to bet the over in Super Bowls in general anyway. So with the total at like 48, I would assume that you would have gotten overwhelming action on the over, but the total's actually gone down a bit.
Yeah, the sharp money came in first of all on Seattle under 48.5. That was a big bet that came in. The adjustment right away was down to 48. Money kept coming in on the under, so we're down to 47. We've taken a little bit of money over 47, and some of it has been what I would call pseudo sharp, not really sharp. The sharpest bets we've got on the total so far were the under 48.5, but I've got some respectable action on the over 47. And right now, if you look at the whole thing, we're basically balanced on the total right now, so we're in a good position there. I think we'll probably, you can still see some 47.5 out on the board, and the line will probably creep up. But the thing, too, we have to take into consideration right now, some people might be sitting back with the concerns about the weather and stuff like that. Denver did go under in the game with New England, which was, a lot of people were betting the over, so maybe they're thinking, wow, if Denver, New England went under, then Seattle, Denver certainly got to go under as well. So, the Seattle defense is really widely respected, of course, for good reason. So I think weather, the Seattle defense are a couple of factors why the total is where it is right now.
So let's talk about a little bit about the line movement decisions that you're going to make between now and kickoff. I mean, I'm assuming that no one bet at this point could possibly make you move the line, right?
No, and again, it's still early, but we've taken so much action at this point. It's just like, it would take something real special for us to move right now. I mean, yeah, like I said, we do need Seattle, but right now we're in a position where the sharps are on Seattle as well. We're sitting at -2. The sharps took plus 2.5. So, we know that if we go back to 2.5, we're just going to get more sharp money. And at this point, being Monday, do you really want to go that far? Probably not. I think the number is going to stay roughly around where it is. I think what we're going to see is the public going to be betting, Denver. The Sharps, if we go to 2.5, are going to be back on Seattle. And we're just going to go back and forth based on what I've seen since the number opened, Peter.
Right. So is it possible that you actually won't make a move on the line at all until kickoff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, if things stay the way they are in terms of the two-way action, from this point forward, no, we would be comfortable sitting in a position right now where we're not balanced, but we need Seattle, and the Sharps are on Seattle. That would be fine for us for sure.
Okay, so how's the overall handle so far? Is it about what you would expect, bigger than normal or less than normal?
It's about what we would expect, and it's really, really big. I mean, like I said, the Super Bowl is just insane, the amount of volume we get going. The props have been up for a while already, and we're going to have more and more props. I mean, I feel sorry for the props department because it's going to take days to grade all the stuff we offer, but we'll get action on everything, which is great.
Do you get hit with a lot of sharp action on your props?
Yeah, I mean, we do all season long. We've got guys who are really good at props, and they basically sit back and they'll pick their spots here and there, and they get a lot of like yes/no score in the first 7.5 minutes, that kind of stuff. Team to score first, all those player props in terms of yards. We get a lot of action on all that kind of stuff. And the good thing in a case like the Super Bowl is you've got the guys who are going to basically, just throw money at those props to have fun. And then we got the Sharps who are betting it because they're there to make money. So it's a good situation for us because we're going to get enough action from public money that if we skew our line, we should be able to get two-way action or even steer guys in a certain direction if we were inclined to do that.
And let's talk about, what the worst possible scenario for you would be and what the best possible scenario for you would be. And I'm assuming that involves, like, teasers.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's a situation where the best situation for us would be anyone in a blowout, and I'm just going to make the assumption that the public's going to keep betting the over, so we're going to need the under by kickoff. So I would say any team blowing out the other team and the under would probably be a good thing for us.
And then what would like the worst case scenario be, or the disaster scenario? Would that just be like, if basically the side and the total fall right near the number and all the teaser sides cash?
Yeah, I would say if all the teasers cashed and it was the favorite winning and it went over but still stayed within teaser range, I would say that would be a bad situation for us. Again, we can chip away at stuff like that with the parties that are going to lose, but then again, a favorite and over parlay, Denver over parlay probably wouldn't be the best situation for us.
But even the worst case scenario, the worst case result is still in the Super Bowl, is still something that you could weather. Whereas like the Super Bowl, the one day where if the disaster scenario happens, it could actually sink you.
No, if you do your job properly, you don't put yourself in that position, Peter.
Right. All right, and as of right now, what are your limits? What's the max bet you'll take?
Whatever your account balance is, that's what we're taking.
Really?
Yeah.
You have no limits on your Super Bowl bets right now?
No, it's if you've got whatever you have in your account, that's what we'll take. That's how we are for the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, what if someone wanted to deposit $200,000 and bet it all on the Super Bowl? You take that?
We would take that.
Damn. Holy crap. All right. Good for you. Ballsy.
Are you looking to make a deposit, Peter? I can send you over to a sales guy right now.
No, sir. No, sir. I am not looking to deposit that kind of cash. I'm going to keep every $200,000 I have in my bank account to myself. Thank you very much.
All right. I mean, if someone wants to bet $200,000 right as they're lining up to kickoff, we'd probably say, hey, it's a little bit late. Let's cut that in half. But anyone who's betting early enough and giving us action like that, we can certainly be able to write back to it, Peter. So that's the situation where we'll take a bet like that for sure.
All right, so then the day of the game, you actually probably will put in some limits then.
No, in the day of the game, we'll be fine. Again, if someone, like I said, if someone wants to bet, say, you throw out the example of $200,000. If someone wanted to throw that out there right at kickoff, we might have an issue with it. We might not. It all depends on our chart, of course.
All right, so in the average year over the past, let's say, like 4 or 5 years, what's usually the biggest single bet that you wind up taking on the Super Bowl?
We've taken. Oh, boy. Honestly, I would say that, again, it's been the rule in terms of however much guys have available. That's what we'll take. Mm-hmm. And I would say 50, 75 in that range is probably the most we've taken so far. That's been on a side. And it's just a situation where there's not a whole lot of guys who have, a few $100,000 in their accounts and post up money. I mean, that's a lot of money to have out there. And again, for guys, you also want to be able to throw that out on one bet. Not a lot of guys want to do that. Even if someone's going to send 100, 150, they're generally going to chop it up until like 75 on the side. I'm going to put 25 on the total. I'll put 25 on the first half, etc. So we'll take. I mean, guys will certainly have that much action in play, but maybe not all in one bet.
All right, well, I think that's just about it for our Monday show. But again, we are going to be talking to Brent again on Friday. So if any of our viewers